Full disclosure, news and commentary number 61, 61, 61, 61, 60. Oh, nah. This is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling. Nah. Hey, holy shit. It's been a crazy bunch of days. It's been a crazy couple months. It's been a crazy year. Fuck. What am I drinking out of? Secret. I keep a collection of cups around from movie theaters, and I usually get the tickets in advance, and I take a look at what cups they're using, and then I smuggle those in. Shh. Rebel. I wanted to feel a little nostalgic, so I thought I would have a drink out of the cups. Because who knows, with AMC's problems and all the rest of it, hell, are movie theaters going to be a thing in the future? I don't know. Thank you for tuning in. Our patrons are Brett, Brian, Dan, Reverend Dan, Derek, Jeffrey, Larry, not that one, but the other one, Proc the Croc, Rob Rod, Southern Honor, Double Dropkick, and our big old sponsors, Eric the World Walker, Viral Pro, and the OG Myron. A couple of housekeeping notes. So, yes, I'm going to do... Wow, look at that light shining in. I'm going to do... Yeah, this is natural light today. There's actually no artificial light. It's kind of a cool kind of a day of filtered light coming through, so I thought I would do it this way. I did a show with James Caleb Kitchens and his friend Caleb, where we looked at Dark Side of the Ring, the Herb Abrams UWF episode. Just got released on Sunday. Check that out. And I believe Nick of the Tapped Out podcast did it the week before about the Von Erichs. So check it out. I am going to be on Chat with Gunner this Thursday. The fuck are we going to talk about? I have no idea. But it should be exciting. Yes, I'm going to do the Raw recap show. Yes, I'm going to cover AEW Dark. Yes, I'm going to cover AEW Dynamite. And I you know, a lot of people just send me in questions. Shit. And sometimes send me your damn questions. I'm going to start answering them and just putting out little videos with the answers to those questions. My take on them anyway. People send me questions all the time. I'm just going to make a formal video thing out of it. It's a teachable moment for a lot of people, including myself. So why the hell not? Unboxing. I already know what it is, and it's not for me. So let me not put their information up. I don't want to dox anybody. But this is a reward for that. Ooh, yeah, this is going to be a full disclosure with production value in it. So you can all be excited about that. I have a little new segment, by the way, and a new song that I did related to the segment that's coming up right after this. But this picture, this is of Taliaferro 13th, and my kid did this. Elena drew this out, mailing it to him. So he wanted to mail something as a thank you to her. If you would like Elena to do a picture for you, it's going to cost you just a little bit. Because you can see she takes a lot of time, does it right, looks like him. He loved it. So he sent her for our unboxing today. We're going to spotlight it. This is for her. You won't see me wearing it. Oh, dope. She will wear this, and she will love this. Next time you see her in a video, she will have it on. In fact, let's highlight its greatness and put it right here. Awesome. Sweet. So yeah, send me your questions. Send Elena your freaking drawing requests. She's happy to do it. She's officially in summer, along with Veronica. And now, our new segment, Platinum's Simp of the Week.
Stephen Platinum's Simp of the Week.
Ah, who's the Simp of the Week? Simp of the Week? All the people who lied and manipulated facts to try to take down the Southern Violence show that's happening on the 6th this weekend. Some people took what was written out, the rules and all of that, and then made up a bunch of shit, and it's not supposed to be more than 25 people, whether it's indoor or outdoor, and and then handed in flyers to try to get them in trouble, and Chris Nelms and company, fucking lame as fuck. You are the Platinum Simps of the Week.
Stephen Platinum's Simp of the Week.
And more of you need to call out how lame as shit that kind of thing is. It's lame as fuck. But yeah, every full disclosure, we're going to do Platinum Simp of the Week. It's the first time I ever manipulated audio with like reverb and echo and all that nonsense. That song will probably get overproduced to the point where maybe I can be the producer on Machine Gun Kelly's next album. All right. Is there wrestling news? Sure. Right? Southern Violence doing their show on the 6th. I'm hoping Larry's still going to that. Other wrestling news. You can see the Every Cloud Has a Platinum lining I did about all the drama. You just check that out. That's a bunch of nonsense with Staples and his daddy. There is some question on whether the burner account was Staples or Mr. B's. Larry tried to follow up with Staples to find out his side of it. I doubt he's responded. If he does, I will certainly let you know in a follow-up. Safe to say, messed up situation. But let's get right to the commentary, which is about the protests, the rioting, and all the bullshit, and more importantly, how it ties in to the wrestling scene, what it reveals, old lessons of mine that should be heeded now more than ever. All right, ready to go? Let's go. I'm just going to approach it from this standpoint. I have a couple bullet points, but I'm just going to let it fly for the most part. I'm going to go about this by being direct and honest as I can. Will you like what I say? I don't know the answer to that. I do know that, as is the case most of the time when there's major shit going on, that things tend to get presented way too simply and oversimplified and in a manipulative fashion. Protests are happening, and they've been happening right near me. I'm on the outskirts of Orlando, but I often go to Clearwater, Scientology country, and to get there you go through Tampa, and Tampa was the craziest of it all. 2 nights ago, when I was in Clearwater, so nearby Tampa, there was stuff happening in Tampa that was big and wasn't showing up on the national scene. And I know that because we were keeping up with all the national stuff. Yeah. And the national stuff, you know, they would have fires happening. So did Tampa. Destruction of property. So did Tampa. People getting beat down. So did Tampa. And so now curfews happened yesterday. I assume they're going to happen again today. Facebook is inundated with everything from people who support the protest movement in general, people who are chiming in about the destruction of property aspects, people who are, pushing there's violence happening and that's not right, and people putting up pictures of Martin Luther King Jr. and quotes from him, people who are speaking up in every way, shape, or form, people looking to be allies, Black Lives Matter, no, all lives matter, etc., etc., etc. And on the wrestling part of it, we're seeing Huckabee and others start calling out assholes as promoters and wrestlers message stuff, put stuff on Facebook that comes across as very unsavory. Huckabee's calling them out. And it's bad when, well, let me just get into what I was going to say in order. So protests are happening. They're peaceful for the most part, but not entirely. Are there rabble-rousers who are hired guns there to make the protesters look bad or to incite stuff? Perhaps. Are there people who are there just to riot and to fucking act a fool and steal shit, who are kind of ruining the overall image of the protests? Undoubtedly. Right? Are there people who are feeling compelled to speak out to be contrary? Right? Or because they feel the need to advance a certain agenda in this time and have their voices heard. I'm talking about guys like Tommy Pitts, right? Yeah, of course. What's my take on it? Ooh. I'll say this. The people whose comments and the things that they're saying, especially now, that cause me to cringe the most or get annoyed the most, were tended to be the dumbest fuckers that I had to deal with in wrestling. The guys who were the dumbest, who were the most stubborn in the worst of ways, and the most ungrateful. Those are the people whose posts I tend to find the most nauseating. Now, full disclosure, that could be because I'm seeing it through the lens of this fucking ungrateful piece of shit. Of course they have this position. Of course they have that position. And what position does that tend to be? That tends to be the people who feel the need to fucking throw their voice in a very emotional time. We're dealing with a man who died unjustly at the hands of law enforcement. And all I could say is this. To my friends who are black, who I have spoken with, there's one consistent message coming out there. And the message is this. Amongst all the other complexities of all of this shit, comes down to, fuck, dude, I'm tired of feeling like the cops might kill me. And to the people who want to say, that's media hype making you feel that way, I'm going to bring back a lesson that I taught many full disclosures ago. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Take this time to shut the fuck up. And if your instinct is, no, I have a right to, you can. But I'm telling you, because I hear things, I know things, the damage that has been done throughout this whole COVID thing and now, the people who have dropped the most in the eyes of people who know about wrestling, fans, and the wrestlers themselves. Not everybody. Everybody's got their fucking echo chamber. Everybody's got their flock. But I'll tell you, because people talk, including yours truly, with other people who know what the fuck is going on, incidentally. And the reputation that different promoters and bookers and wrestlers have taken because they didn't know how to shut the fuck up. Even now, when there is nothing to be gained by constantly spouting your opinions, constantly talking your shit, constantly white-splaining or whatever it is you fucking think you're doing, shut the fuck up. And let other people get their very genuine, heartfelt emotions and thoughts and the rest of it out there without your fucking bullshit static. The people who don't realize that they are convincing nobody of nothing, or maybe they know it and they just don't care. You are stupid on a level that I could not explain to you even one-on-one, I imagine, if you gave me fucking 15 minutes uninterrupted. But you would be unable to give me that 15 minutes uninterrupted. That much is clear as well. Like I said, the people in the past who I've tended to have the fucking hardest time dealing with because they were dumb fucks, those wrestlers, the wrestlers who continually to go like, you know, but I don't think of it as a black thing, or I'm colorblind, or la 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 la. These are the motherfuckers who. Here's the difficult part, and I think this is what this whole thing has revealed, and this is the thing that people need to be very wary about. Coded language is now easily seen. I think we have a they live scenario. And this whole thing has put a lot of sunglasses on a lot of people. And we see the ugly face underneath. Because the people with that ugly face underneath cannot contain themselves. You know why you can't contain yourselves? Because you've never been in a position where your voice didn't matter as much. And you can't take it. The irony there is not lost upon me. Your voices, for the first time, don't matter nearly as much. And they shouldn't. And you should, for just a little while, shut the fuck up and listen a little more. Try to hear, try to understand. Instead of, I'm not really listening to you, I'm just waiting for my turn to speak. Because that's how I've lived my entire lives. Usually I'm talking about white dudes. And even the ones who are allies to Black Lives Matters and whatnot, even, I gotta say, I'm even getting annoyed. Like, shut the fuck up. Great. Be supportive. You don't need to fucking speak out as much. Shut the fuck up. I have a unique perspective. Not singular necessarily, but amongst people in the Georgia scene, because I grew up in Hawaii, which is the United States, but not really. Culturally, completely different. There, white people are the minority. Some would argue the oppressed minority. Not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of culture. Hawaii does not operate the same as most of the United States proper. What do I mean? I mean, sort of Western aggression is not prized and is treated differently. If you're the asshole who sits there going, waiter, I haven't gotten my silverware yet, and is somebody going to come take our drink order? And blah, blah. They don't get aggressive right back, nor do they beg, cater, and kowtow. They ignore you. Asian Polynesian mix, culturally. They'll just go around you. They deal with the obstacle by flowing like water around it. A lot of white people don't like that. You'll see a lot of white people go to Hawaii and then they come back going, well, they're just racist against white people. Blah, blah, blah. It's just they got to experience what it is like to be most minorities on the mainland. And they don't like it. Because what they're told indirectly in Hawaii is the way that you are trying to impose on the culture here doesn't work. You must adapt for the first time here. That's the insight I can offer about what's going on now. For the first real time, the power structure as we know it, and the social mores, and the way the things that were prized and idealized are no longer the coin of the realm and the standard at which we are based. And for a lot of people, that is completely unacceptable. And so we've seen people in the last 2 or 3 months deal with this in very extreme, odd ways. And we'll continue to see that. All I can offer is this. Shut the fuck up is still great advice. Listening and studying and empathizing and sympathizing is a much better way to go. And if you still find yourself screwed up in your guts, unable to accept that, the problem is yours. And allowing for mistakes in others or groups of people is okay. Realizing that things aren't perfect and never have been is a pretty good way to go. It's okay to have different roles throughout your life. It's inevitable. I know it's hard. I know it is. My roles have changed throughout my life. In case you haven't noticed, I'm white. Half Japanese as well. Grew up in Hawaii. Was once married, and I'm no longer married. And once I got divorced, the rules changed, and different things were imposed in my life, and I had to adjust. And we see a number of friends in wrestling right now who are going through their own trials and tribulations in their relationships. And their reactions have been ranged from scary to pitiful. And I will allow it, and I will understand that. But for their long-term health, I would hope that it changes. But how much am I supposed to say? Not that much. It's okay for me to shut the fuck up and just be there for them. So that's my advice. Either be somebody because of where you're situated or how you relate to everything that's going on, who finally has a voice and power, and you're getting more, and you're also getting these things out of your system that need to come out. Express yourself, motherfucker. And for those who have been corrupt and rotten underneath, and now your mask is slipping. Just know you're getting called out. And for those who find yourself in a confused place of, I want to be supportive and I'm going to vocalize that with maybe just a little hint of virtue signaling attached to it, let's be honest. Use this as an excuse of being the person who asks privately more than publicly, what can I do to help? What can I do to learn? And if you're somebody for whom you find this whole thing intolerable, shut the fuck up. And just secretly hope that you're right. And that it plays out so you can say, I knew I would be right. Or, God forbid, make an adjustment and see if you can fucking learn something. These are tumultuous times. And things that were once acceptable are not acceptable anymore. I'll be here, listening, trying to understand, and speaking out when I think it will help the most. But I will also practice what I preach, and when it comes to certain things, you'll notice, if you've ever looked at my Facebook page, what do you see? Silly movie review shit, my kids, because that's my everything, and my wrestling shit, for the most part. And occasionally, something poignant that I write. Beyond that, shut the fuck up. Doesn't make me a coward. It makes me a student. I can admit that there are still things to learn, still things to interpret, still things to try to understand. And those who are trying to fight the tide, those who feel this need to prevent people who have traditionally had to live in fear and have less and have their world narrowed for them. Now that that world is expanding and there's a chance that inherently corrupt structures can change, who feel the need in some way, shape, or form to fight that, I fucking pity you. I pity you. And I hope you will take an opportunity to change. And if you won't, and you continue to run your mouth, as everybody is fond of saying in the modern era, you can be free to say whatever you want, but you also have to understand that there are consequences. And if you're too dumb to know of the damage that you're doing to your own reputation and what it has revealed about a whole lot of you, there are wrestling groups that I would advise you probably shouldn't open once we're able to do shows again. That's how bad it is. That's how dumb some promoters have been. But it's not just promoters, is it? For those of you listening and everybody else, I hope you stay safe. I hope that you are well. And I hope, as bad as the situation is right now, that it will continue to improve. And for those of you who feel the need to be bitter and sarcastic with everything that you post, as your arms are crossed and you sit on top of your imaginary ivory tower, I hope you learn before the inevitable humbling and reckoning comes. Because history teaches us it always does. This has been Full Disclosure.